Hello, class. Good day. Today, we will learn another lesson. It is all about elements and compounds. Also, I will guide you in answering Activity 1 and 2 in your Science 7 Quarter 1 Week 3 module. Alright, let's proceed. What are the main objectives in our lesson today? What do you think? Okay, here it is. For knowledge, recognize that substances are classified into elements and compounds. For skills, name elements that are listed in the nutrition facts of food label. For attitude, act with focus in recognizing substances that are classified into elements and compounds. And for values, perform with confidence in doing the activities. Before we start, let us first read some information about substances which are classified into elements and compounds. Okay, let's start and read with me. All substances are homogeneous. Some mixtures are also homogeneous, particularly solutions. Being so, it is difficult to distinguish mixtures and substances based on appearance. However, there are ways to tell if a sample is a mixture or a substance. The temperature of a liquid mixture varies during a boiling, but for a liquid substance, it doesn't. A solid mixture has portions that do not melt, but a solid substance melts completely within a short time. Okay, let's move on. And are you familiar with matter? Remember that matter is anything that occupies space and have mass. Like me. I occupy space here in my mini office and also I have mass. And let's take a look again on the diagram. Matter is divided into mixtures and substances. And based on the diagram, substances are grouped into compounds and elements. This time, let's do the activity. Okay, class, let's have activity 1, the periodic table, its elementary. Let us first have the objectives. Number 1, identify the different elements in the periodic table. Number 2, identify the elements with long names. And number 3, identify the symbols of elements. And for the materials needed, we only need your periodic table of elements. I already have mine here, the modern periodic table of the elements. So try to look at there. Okay. Alright, so let's move on. Alright, class, you can see on the screen the 118 elements contained in the periodic table of the elements for you to be guided in our activity today. Okay, let's move on. Class, let's have the first procedure of activity number 1. Every element has a name. In each box of the table, you will find only one name. One box corresponds to one element. Okay, so you have there 4 boxes. In this box, you can see the symbol H, E, and its name helium. Okay, let's continue. Using the partial figure of the periodic table on the right, find where oxygen is. Okay, try to find oxygen. Alright, so let me have the arrow so that you can figure out where is oxygen. And oxygen has the symbol O. Okay, so let's proceed. Number 2, for the next questions, please refer to the periodic table of elements found below your module and found next in this video, and write your answers in the table. Okay, so your table must look like this, and it should be written in your yellow pad paper. Okay, let's move on. Okay, for letter A, scientists agreed to give symbols for each element. This is very helpful, especially to those elements with long names. Instead of writing the full names, a one-letter or two-letter symbol may be used. You can find the symbols in the periodic table too. It is written inside the same box for that element. Okay, for instance, O is the symbol for oxygen. Alright, so let's move on. Class, let's start answering question number 1. What are the symbols for elements with long names such as beryllium, phosphorus, germanium, and dermstatium? Kindly start filling in the table you have made, which is the same of the table shown here in the video. Let's take for example the name of the element is oxygen. So its symbol is O based on its box found on the modern periodic table of elements, and its group number is 16. Okay, as shown here above. And we will talk later how to get the group number. Just make sure to write the symbol of each element. Okay, let's proceed. For letter B, notice that most of the one-letter symbols are the first letters of these elements, right? Let's take, for example, question number 2 and answer also the following symbols of the elements. Okay, what are the symbols for boron, nitrogen, fluorine, and vanadium? And next, for letter C, for the two-letter symbols, most of them start with first letter of the element. Notice that the second letter in the symbol may be any letter found in the element's name. Notice as well that only the first letter is capitalized for the two-letter symbols. Okay, class, remember that in writing a two-letter symbols, the first letter should be capital. Okay, just like this one. The symbol of chlorine is capital C and a small letter L, which is next to the first letter. Alright, so let's have question number 3. What are the symbols for lithium, chlorine, argon, calcium, and manganese? I know you can do it, class. Okay, let's proceed. For letter D, there are symbols that use letters that were taken from the ancient name of the element. Examples of ancient names are ferrum for iron, argentum for silver, hydrogerum for mercury, and plumbum for lead. Let's have now question number 4. What are the symbols for iron, silver, mercury, and lead? Okay, let's proceed. For letter E, in the earlier grade levels, you already encountered elements. You studied rocks and learned that some are composed of silicon and magnesium. Some even have gold. Okay, let's answer question number 5. What are the symbols for silicon, magnesium, and gold? Right, let's move on. For letter F, when you were recycling materials, you segregated the objects according to what these are made of. Some of them are made from aluminum, copper, tin, and carbon. For question number 6, What are the symbols for aluminum, copper, tin, and carbon? Okay, let's continue. For letter G, in nutrition, you were advised to eat enough bananas because it is a good source of potassium. Yes, it is. So better eat bananas every day. Alright, so let's have question number 7. What is the symbol for potassium? We're almost done, class. Let's proceed. Let's have letter H. In each box, you will find a number on top of each symbol. This is the atomic number. In the higher grade levels, you will learn what this number represents. For now, use it as a guide on how the elements are sequenced. Okay, let's have question number 8. What is the element's name and symbol that comes before titanium? Again, class, be reminded, before titanium. So you will write it on the table. And the next question is, how about that comes after barium? Again, after barium. And I guess your table now is already complete. You already written the element's name and its symbols. Now let's make it more complete. Okay, by answering for letter I, elements that are in the same column have similar properties. For this, each column is called a family and has a family name. However, at this point, you will refer first to each family with their corresponding group number. Notice that the columns are numbered from 1 to 18 from left to right. So let me show you my modern periodic table of elements. I hope you can see the group number. Okay, so here. So for this column, you can see here group number 1, which is written on the top. Then next to it, this part here has group number 2. And it completes the group numbers 1 to 18. Which can you see here? Right. Okay. There. So you have here group number 18. Okay, let's have question number 9. In which group does each of the elements listed in the table above belongs to? Yes, above your module. Okay. And this time, you already completed the table. Let me show you again the table. You already listed the element's name, written its symbols, and also its group number. Very good, class. Okay. This time, let's have activity 2, the matter on labels. Let's first have the objectives. Number 1, name elements that are listed in the nutrition facts of food label. And number 2, identify the elements that are beneficial to our body. And what you need is food label or food labels, at least 2 food labels. So I only have here Energin. Yeah, 1 food label. So for you, since you need 2, you must have 2 food labels. So I only have 1 here. It's because it will serve as your example, a sample of food label. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, class, let's have the first procedure. Paste or attach the food labels found at your house here or on your yellow pad paper. And make sure that you can see the nutrition facts and the ingredients because you will use it later. Let's proceed. Let's have number 2. Using the food labels above or the food labels that you have and pasted in your yellow pad paper, identify the ingredients in the food label and identify if it is an element or a compound. put your answers in the table below your module, or let's have the next slide, okay? Okay, so I already highlighted the ingredients part of the allergen that will serve as our food label number one. And I already given an example below the table. Example, the ingredient that I get from the allergen is sodium polyphosphate. Okay, and for me, it is a compound. Okay, so at least class, you can write three ingredients. It's okay for me to write at least three ingredients and identify these ingredients if it is an element or a compound. Okay, you can do it. And next is that you will also identify the ingredients and classify if it is elements or compound in your food label number two. And for grading you in activity 1 and 2, we will use the rubric. Okay? So you have there the criteria. The first criterion is content. Second is commitment. And the third criterion is safety. And the higher points that you can get in each criterion is 5 points. Since there are 3 criterion and each criterion is 5 points, therefore 5 times 3 equals 15. And if you receive 15 points, meaning you got perfect. Alright. Suppose that you're already done. So let's have the, and again, the reference that we have for our activity 1 and 2 is Science 7, Quarter 1, Week 3 with the learning competency. Recognize that substances are classified into elements and compounds. Self-Learning Kit by Mylene A. Kotab. Class, thank you so much for your time. And I will leave you with a quote, lahat ng bagay pinaghihirapan. Di matamis ang tagumpay kapag walang paghihirap na nararanasan. Okay, it was according to jobsforeveryone.com. Thank you again, class, and see you. Bye-bye.